So it's going to go something like, today we're not alone because we have our very first interview. Can all three of you just go, yay? Because it sounds good. Alrighty.
Amazing.
I'm ready.
Okay. Welcome to the Convention Creatives podcast hosted by PB and Jay, the show where we talk about conventions, creativity, and everything in between.
I am PB, your favorite podcast bear.
And I'm Jay, your most favorite podcast bear.
Today, we are not alone because we have a very special episode, our very first interview.
Yay! Well, guys! Guys! Oh! I was so left alone out in the cold there.
I'm sorry.
You are like Anastasia, left outside alone. Okay. Should we try that again?
I'm sorry.
Who better to kick things off with than two of my closest friends, the incredible duo behind Raku Events, Jake and Kay.
That's right, Jake and Kay are the masterminds behind SonicCon UK, an event that had a massive debut last year and is on track to be even bigger this time around. We're going to talk about the origins of SonicCon, the insane success of their recent Kickstarter campaign, and what's next for Raku Events.
Also, we have a lot of questions, so let's get into it. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Not too bad of a train wreck.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the podcast. It's a new week with a new time. And like we said in our intro, we're not alone this time. I think little virtual round of applause for our guests, Jake and Kay. Yay! Thank you both so much for doing this with us this week.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
And you have had a crazy few weeks. Because there is so much going on in the world of SonicCon right now. And we are so thrilled that we get to talk to you both about all the chaos, all the magic that's happening right now. But it's probably best, before we get straight into where you're at now, which, by the way, is crazy. Like, my goodness, I can't wait to get to that because it's mind-blowing. But we should probably go back. I always like to go back to the beginning, back to the early days. And SonicCon, again, crazy, but also only approaching its second event. It's only the second one. You've only done one so far, and it's already gone the way it has. What sort of inspired you to do the first one, the original SonicCon?
So it was actually happened back in RakuCon 2023, and a friend actually came up to me and jokingly suggested about doing, you should do a Shadow the Hedgehog con, because they know obviously I'm a really big Shadow the Hedgehog fan. And after that, it lingered on my mind for quite a while. I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what, I would love to do something, like, maybe not specific a Shadow the Hedgehog con, but a Sonic themed convention, as a whole, would be absolutely amazing. And then, I just started getting to work on it. I started designing the logo. Me and Kay obviously went to Pendulum to see what availability they had and things like that. And then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah, we were thinking about doing things outside of RakuCon already. Sort of, we wanted to see maybe where we could go with Raku Events as a business. And Jake had the idea of doing a SonicCon suggested, and it was just the logical next step. Jake especially, but we were both huge Sonic fans, and we were already running events, so it just seemed like the logical next step of let's do a Sonic-themed convention.
So after running a more art-based event, because that's how I see RakuCon, a nod towards where you started as an illustrator in the convention scene, as a more pastel-y and soft art. And even when I spoke about RakuCon on TikTok for quite some time, I would always talk about it as a convention for artists from artists. What were your initial goals with regards to doing something different when it came to SonicCon? Because it does feel like it's even within a small convention type thing, it's a very big change.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the focus is different with, it's celebrating, a specific fandom, rather, whereas with RakuCon it's celebrating the artists and obviously Japanese popular culture as a whole. But for this one specifically, we wanted to celebrate the creativity of the amazing artists in the Sonic community, the cosplayers and the fan works of community, and bringing the community together is obviously what was really important when, making the event.
Very nice.
Yeah, I think it's just a huge focus on the community. There's still a huge focus on artists, obviously, as you saw with how incredibly popular the Dealers Hall was at the first SonicCon. But yeah, we had so many guests from other parts of the community, YouTube guests, artists who have worked in official capacities, and it was all about just bringing the Sonic community together for this one day of just back-to-back Sonic.
Yeah.
I think you succeeded very well, and you definitely made a lot of us artists who are on the fringe of the same communities, but we had never met each other. Artists and guests, because that's where I met this one. Crazy.
This one.
It's really spawned a lot. A lot has come out of SonicCon that I don't think we could have ever predicted happening. It's been insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy.
I've got to say, as someone who got to go as a guest, thank you for the invite. It was so nice to see. I really, really appreciated just seeing, like you said, the artist area was crazy insane. I think it makes me realize how much sometimes Sonic fans are starving for new art and new stuff to own. But also, like you said, it is a different kind of event because you do have Sonic covers so many facets of what a convention can be, because there's the art, but then also there's the music guests, and like I said, there's a YouTuber, there's the people who do let's plays, and there was whole panels about speed running and people doing panels about new animations they were making about fan projects and this sort of stuff. So it covered such a breadth of content. So seeing it all come together on one day for its first time was really impressive, and I think everyone had the best time from it. What did it feel like seeing all of that come together and sort of come to life?
It was incredible. You can never get over the feeling of just having everything come together, from, the initial idea, and then, sorting out all the guests, and getting that guest lineup, going through all the dealer applications and seeing all the amazing art, and then see it all to come together on the day, the performances and panels as well. And yeah, it just takes words out of my mouth, to be fair. It's amazing. Just an incredible feeling.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's something about spending a year, maybe more sometimes, working on this event, organising all the logistics, the ups and downs of, this is going great, and what if it all goes wrong, kind of thing. And then it all does happen and it runs smoothly. And obviously there's ups and downs, and there were challenges during the event, but seeing it all come together, hearing wonderful feedback from people afterwards was just so nice and rewarding.
Yeah,
to see all the hard work pay off.
Super rewarding.
You mentioned that obviously the ups and downs of making something like this happen, and you mentioned that you had a variety of challenges, which I'm sure is the case for any event you're organising.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine this one is a whole different kettle of fish. But was there any particular was a particular bigger challenge or something that you weren't expecting, something that really stuck out as okay, SonicCon has a new range of challenges I wasn't prepared for?
I think the audio-visual, just everything around that with the stages and all of the tech around that was definitely on a bigger scale to what RakuCon has ever been. We had a digital guest for the first time. Shoutout obviously called in. We had bands performing, Emerald Radio, obviously Priest and Boy performed, and we realised that it was a lot more complex than anything we'd worked with before. And obviously the team we had, David and Alex, were incredibly helpful and really made the best of what we had to work with. But it's definitely shown that for this year we need to, upgrade what we're working with and just improve what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with that. AV was, a huge challenge because we've never had it to that kind of scale before. With previous events, like with the IDW panel, we had 4 microphones. And we've never had 4 microphones all plugged in at once, which can obviously, it did have its issues because, it was our first time having a panel like that. But yeah, it was a massive challenge, but, we got there, and it was really cool to see us actually pull something like that off. This was really cool. And we couldn't have done it without David and Alex. They are amazing.
Huge help.
Yeah, that's so good, so good.
Now, I don't think we have had a single episode of this podcast that we haven't kind of nodded towards or mentioned SonicCon in one measure or another. We have praised it, and people have sung those praises back to us, especially people who have been there, and those who haven't, seeing it on social media, wanting to attend this year. However, I do have to ask, was there any unexpected critique about the event after the event was over or during that you had to deal with?
I think a lot of the feedback we got was relevant and very, constructive. Mostly a lot of it we sort of read through because we sent out a feedback form about it was a week or so after the con, and a lot of the feedback we were reading through and went, yeah, that makes sense. Like, the layout for Pendulum is a little bit confusing. Sometimes people weren't sure what was going on certain stages. Obviously we need to improve how we signpost what's going on and that kind of thing. The only one that stands out, and it's not really unexpected in a sense of I didn't think that was a problem, it just sort of made me laugh, was one of the pieces of feedback had marked 1 for everything, so 1 out of 5, so they didn't enjoy the con. And their comment was, it felt too much like a furry convention, which really just threw me off, because it's not constructive, nor is it really much of a criticism. Sort of thought,
I have to say,
okay.
I disagree strongly with this, because I feel like there wasn't enough furry work.
So your feedback is we need more furries next year.
Yes, always. We've established in the last episode I am now an out and proud furry. So more the better.
Definitely take that on board.
Yeah.
I feel seen, appreciated.
Other than the feedback that you need to sort out more furries for the next convention, is there any other feedback you received that you took to heart, maybe?
I wouldn't say particularly took to heart, but I mean, there was feedback about there not being any official merchandise. Obviously that'd be something we'd love to offer, and as something we're wanting to, we'd love to have a trader selling official merchandise. But obviously the bulk of applications, in fact all the applications we got for SonicCon Manchester was all artists. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely on the lookout for, having official merchandise at the event. I mean, it'd be really, really cool to have. Especially if they had things that were, very hard to find, like, I don't know, the Hawk Jack specific figure. Obviously would be really cool. I'm sure people would be over the moon for something like that.
People would be fighting for it. Or maybe a Mephiles one? I don't know.
Mephiles, yeah.
I hear
he's
sometimes someone might be looking for that one.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. I think any of the old Jax ones tend to get quite popular if it's not Sonic, who's been released with every single wave, because, of course he does.
Now it's Sonic with a slightly different face. Like, he's just smiling, frowning, looking indecisive, just a range of emotion.
But outside of that, obviously, we had 2 stages, and because our team for Manchester was quite small, sometimes we didn't always look after the shadow stage as much as we wanted to. So obviously, those areas we're looking to definitely improve upon for London.
Yeah, I mean, we have discussed now the convention just passed, and you are mentioning already things that you are looking to improve on the event this year, right? So moving on to the evolution of SonicCon into 2025, right? What would you say the biggest changes happening in the event this year compared to last year?
Well, obviously we have a far bigger guest lineup with our very first international guest, Johnny from Crush 40, which obviously incredibly excited about. It's like a dream come true. And obviously, bigger and better AV capabilities as well, with a much larger stage. For SonicCon London, we're only having 1 stage this time, so we can just have all, the AV focus on 1 stage to make every panel, every performance, as amazing as possibly, it can be. And we're also looking at having, little, areas of that would be really good for photo shoots and really cool backgrounds and things like that, things that people can interact with and stuff, which I think would be really cool. So that's just some few things that will be quite big improvements.
Yeah.
Very nice.
We're also, as Jake mentioned earlier with some of the feedback about the shadow stage from last year and how we had such a small team, I think for London, we're looking at obviously having far more volunteers and just really improving the way that we organise volunteers and work with them, because, you know, it's going to be such a bigger event compared to where we're coming from. So we're really going to have to be super organised, making sure that people know what they're doing, where they need to go, how they can help, guest questions and everything. So I think we're going to need a whole host of volunteers to make it run smoothly.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It really does sound like the move to London has had quite an impact on the event scale and what you can do with an event like this.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And it's just the layout of the venue as well is just so much more simple. So it'll be a lot less confusing for people, visiting the venue. It's just, it's a beautiful venue. It's really, really nice. Super happy with it.
Yeah. And it is twice, nearly 3 times the capacity of Pendulum. So it is, I think last year it was just over 500 tickets that we capped at. This year it's more than double that, because it is a significantly larger venue and we can accommodate that number of people now. But obviously that is something we need to take into account with how we organise the space, how we organise staff and volunteers, because that is far more people to manage than we have at any event we've organised so far. So that's it has had a big impact on the scale of it.
Speaking of volunteers, because we mentioned them twice now, I think people who listen to the podcast, people who attend conventions, don't quite grasp the concept of volunteering at a con. Right? I have spoken to quite a few people throughout many different types of conventions. I have spoken to people who volunteer at, say, LFCC, for example, London Film and Comic Con, where a lot of their volunteers are actually people who sign up for an agency to get work for one day, right? And the agency sends them to a convention. So they have no previous background, no idea of what they're doing. They just turn up on the day, and that's the kind of thing that you also see, for example, with security at MCM. A lot of them are volunteers on the day who are not trained security whatsoever, right? And if they botch their job a little bit, you can't really blame them, because it's just a volunteer for the day. They're helping out. In the same sense, you experienced a similar thing to take care of the shadow stage, for example, last year.
Yes. I had asked someone to check on the stage during the changeover times between panels and performances on there, and they, for whatever reason, didn't let me know that they could no longer keep up with doing that, which is what led to us obviously having issues where the stage wasn't set up for people's panels.
Yes. Yeah. So bit of a shout out to anyone out there who would like to volunteer at these kind of events. Please understand that when you do volunteer, you're a cog in a very important machine, and that reflects on the event that you're volunteering at. So please make sure to give your best foot forward and help, because that is why you are literally there.
Yeah. Like, obviously, we do want to allow volunteers time to still enjoy the event, because, we don't appreciate them offering their time up. But ultimately, you are still volunteering. Volunteers do attend the event for free. So, we would still appreciate it if, we have people volunteering who are really going to help out with where we ask them to help out, or at least communicate with us if things do change, because then we can, put backups in place and stuff.
Very well said. Over to you, Jay.
This doing a larger event like this, especially when it comes to volunteers, like more so than ever, like it needs everyone who is involved to be on the ball, as it were, and play their part. And I think it's really important. And like when you're doing something on a larger scale, which this next one is going to be a lot bigger, everyone needs to play their part, and everything is going to be taken up a level in this next one. Everything you've described, everything that we've seen, it's very exciting. Obviously, the announcement came out about this new event with a very lovely done video, I must say, and announcing the reveal.
I wonder who edited that.
Wow. Editor, roll the video so we can see it.
SonicCon UK is coming to London. Join us the 1st of November at the Novotel London West with special guest Johnny Gioeli, TJ Davis, and Bentley Jones. Follow our Kickstarter for more.
So good, such quality. When it came out, obviously, I remember the Discord and everyone waiting because I knew there was a big announcement coming. And obviously, one of the key things, other than the date, was, is it going to be in Manchester again? And then you made the very exciting announcement, in my opinion, that no, we're going to go bigger and better. And one of those changes is going to London. What are your thoughts on the reaction to that venue change? Because I am aware that there was some varying opinions and stuff.
Obviously, people were, there's a small amount of people that were, disappointed. Because obviously, London is far for a lot of people and it's a very expensive place. And obviously, our reasoning for picking London, for this year's, for one, we viewed this venue, obviously it was amazing, and it's also it's much easier to get international guests over to London than it is to Manchester, and we just wanted to also host something that is further down south, at least for this year, and obviously the plan is to alternate. So when we announced it, I think a lot of people more excited about the announcement of obviously Johnny from Crush 40. Obviously people were incredibly excited about that, and even though some people were a little bit disappointed, they were obviously still super excited to come anyway, just because it's a much larger scale this time around. We've got Johnny from Crush 40, TJ and Bentley, which is a hell of a trio of guests, if I do say so myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the general excitement, and the fact about alternating as well. So obviously next year we'll be back at Manchester. I think people are understandable. We need more time to find a bigger venue for Manchester, so this will give us that time to do that.
Yeah, I think I agree with most of what Jake said, really. It was, obviously I can appreciate it can be disappointing, especially if you do live closer to Manchester and now you've got to think, got to travel all this way. But we did also get comments for last year's event in Manchester from people who around the south going, I can't really come up because it's too far. So now London is a more convenient location for them as well. And yeah, I think most people were just more excited about the announcement of Johnny.
Talking about big guests and talking about, this exciting announcement of Johnny, how was it to approach booking a guest that is of that caliber and international? What was that like?
So Alex, he actually works with Johnny for quite a few of his concerts and stuff and things like that. Okay. So has fair bit of previous experience with him. Mm-hmm. So I actually messaged Alex and I was like, I'm very much interested having Johnny at SonicCon next year. Obviously this was last year when we were talking, and he was like, oh, I'll give him a message on WhatsApp. And then like an hour later, just got an email through from Johnny, be like, hey, I heard you want me for an event. I was like, yeah,
okay,
sure,
cool.
I mean, obviously with Johnny, it's very, it's very casual, very chill. Because we're speaking directly to Johnny. There's no agent to go through.
Okay.
Obviously, when you work with bigger guests, they usually have an agent that represents them. So usually speaking directly to the agent. With Johnny, it's very much different because obviously, we're speaking just directly to him. So it's very casual, very chill. And he's just, he's a really nice guy.
Nice. Very nice. And any chance that you can tease us up for anything else that hasn't been fully announced yet?
Is, potential for someone quite big. I can't say, but that is in the talks. I think people would be very excited. I mean, it's not just one person, technically it's three, but so it could be something quite interesting. But obviously we'll see.
Okay.
Those talks
Giving away too much
are happening, but we'll see. We'll see where things go.
I can see in the expression here, like that math thing going through. It's like, who is three? What is it? What could it be?
But yeah, I mean, there's going to be lots of exciting announcements over the coming months, which we're very excited about. Activities as well. Very excited about all of that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know Jake mentioned earlier about areas for pictures and stuff. Obviously, you've mentioned before printing like rabbits in other episodes, and so Obviously, we're working with Printing Like Rabbits to bring the full-size Sonic and Shadows that have already appeared on your table at a few events now, but they should hopefully be at SonicCon fully coloured for people to take pictures with. We're hopefully going to be working on having an actual proper backdrop with little chows and stuff as well, like a chow garden. It's going to be really great. So it's going to be perfect for cosplayers to get photos, or just anyone to take cool photos with Sonic and Shadow or in the Chow Garden. Very exciting to have that. It's such a unique thing to have. I think it's going to be great.
Before we even get into which amazingly 3D printed hedgehogs we'll be able to take photos with, we need to fund this event. You both have chosen Kickstarter as your method for this year round of raising the event. So I guess the thing I really want to understand is, one, why crowdfunding, why Kickstarter this time, and how long have you had to prepare to get to the point of launching it?
Yeah, I mean, we want to go with Kickstarter because, for one, it's a platform that I'm very much familiar with. I've ran loads of my own Kickstarters for like enamel pins and stuff for the past 5 years now, and obviously other Sonic conventions have used it in the past. And with this being such an expensive event to organise, we thought Kickstarter would be the best way to go about it this time, because it's just much easier to have on all the add-on for merchandise and things like that, and be able to display it really nicely as well, and have all the information there on one page. So we went for Kickstarter. That was decided quite early on. I think that was decided early last year, actually, that we wanted to do Kickstarter, at least for London.
Yeah, I think when we realised how much the venue was going to be, we were like, this is going to need to be crowdfunded.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. And then we've been working on the Kickstarter since mid-November, so quite a while now. And yeah, we just work on it extensively, almost every day, just getting the graphics done. Obviously, I design all the graphics, and those take quite a bit of time, especially when you keep chopping and changing your mind of like the colours of different things and how you want things to look and how everything has to be perfect. And yeah, as Jules can probably imagine. But
I took just as long on mine.
But yeah, I was working on it all the way up until Friday of the launch day. I think it was all fully ready about an hour before launch, and that week work on it. This past week I was very, very ill working on it, so it was a time working on it, but it's very, very nice having it all come together and just seeing it all done, and the way I wanted it to look. And yeah, very, very happy with how it looks.
I have to say, it was very helpful for me to have you working on yours alongside me working on mine very last minute, and bouncing back and forth, keeping each other motivated and pushing through to the very end. Well done. It was
a grind. It was. Yeah.
Nice. And you chose £15,000 to be the funding goal for that campaign. Was there a thought process behind why 15k?
Well, we wanted it to be something that was achievable. To help us get the initial funds to help us towards organising the event. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to set it way too high and then, struggle to get there. And we had no idea how quickly we'd actually reach the goal when we launched it. It was crazy, absolutely insane. But yeah, so 15,000, we thought it was achievable. We thought we'd be able to reach that within the 30-day period. We didn't expect to reach it within, 40 minutes? It was insane. So yeah.
Would you like to add anything, Kate, to that?
Yeah, I agree. I think we just wanted to go with something sensible, because obviously the way Kickstarter works, if you don't get fully funded, you don't get anything, even if it's only a few £100 away from the goal. And so obviously the higher you set it, the higher the risk is of you just coming out of it with absolutely nothing. So we wanted to go with an amount that would be achievable and felt sensible, but would still cover a good initial chunk of the costs that we could then put regular tickets on sale and feel pretty confident about the event going ahead. And then it reached it in 40 minutes, and now we're already at double that. So clearly we underestimated the hype of Sonic fans.
Sonic fans do be like that. Sonic fans really do be like that. I think it is crazy because, like you said, it's 40 minutes. That is insane that you were able to reach that so quickly and with such enthusiasm. And I have seen the stories that you've been resharing with everyone they're not just a case of pledging it, they've been like tagging you in it saying, oh, I've just backed it, and there's such a huge momentum and engagement and people are genuinely excited for it. Like, I know you said it like was kind of shocking, but like how has your reaction been to that? Because it's one thing hitting the target as far as you had, which again, crazy, amazing, but also just seeing the community's very visible response in such a positive way. That must be such a good feeling.
It's insane. My mind's blown by the reception of the Kickstarter. When it launched, just trying to keep up with posting everyone's stories to our SonicCon Instagram story, and just seeing everyone being so excited to get their tickets it was really heartwarming.
I think I was speechless like Jake, just watching the page, because it's so nervous those sort of few minutes before it actually goes live and you click the button and you're like, what if no one pledges? And then so just watching it, and then the number just kept going up. I didn't even have to refresh the page, it just kept going up all the time. And I was like, oh wow, we've done 1,000. Oh, we've done 5,000. Oh, it was just, we were thinking, oh, it'd be so nice to maybe reach the goal within a week. 40 minutes. And just, seeing the reactions of everyone, reading the Discord server and people also following along, being like 8,000 now. Oh, we've hit the goal. And seeing everyone else be so excited to see the project do so well was just lovely. It was really nice to see everyone's just so hyped for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Very nice. So at the time of our recording now, you have just raised over 30k. How does that change the approach going forward?
I'd say that, well, for one, we can start negotiating a lot easier with guests. It definitely makes it so much easier in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of gives us more of a vision of where we'll be at the end of the campaign. So we know where, how much money different things can have, and we can allocate budgets a lot more easier as well. It just makes things a lot easier. We don't have to, struggle for money to, for certain things. It just helps a lot. So yeah, and just means we can make the event even more amazing.
Yeah, it definitely takes the pressure off a lot. We've had obviously other events, the first SonicCon and RakuCon, where we have to sort of wait for those weekly ticket payouts from Eventbrite and be like, how we, and it's sort of, because we are still working on such a small budget with such a small team, everything's still a very small scale, despite what you might see on Kickstarter. You might see 30,000 and think, oh, that's it, the event's made. And there is still a lot more to go on behind it, but the fact that it's already doubled the goal puts us in such a better position moving forward. And like Jake said, we can negotiate more with guests, we can look at how, things that where we maybe thought maybe we should go down a cheaper route, we can actually consider, maybe we can go for the more expensive option. That's going to be even better for everyone. So it makes things a lot better.
Definitely.
So just because we are very nosy here, if you were to spitball a rough estimate of the true cost of what you imagine, not what you plan on adding, because obviously the more you add, the more cost it's going to take, but just for what you have planned in this moment right now, what do you estimate that the true cost of running SonicCon 2020?
At the minimum, it would be, I'd say, around £50,000, but it'd probably be more around 60, I think. Definitely.
I think it's definitely sort of that kind of ballpark figure, anywhere between sort of 45 to 60. More than half of that is the venue. The venue is by far the biggest cost of any event we've ran, because venues are expensive. And the way that they work is obviously you have to pay a deposit, you pay beforehand, which is again why Kickstarter has been so helpful, because it means we've got that money now rather than having to rely on ticket sales, which means we may not get the money in time for when the payments are due for the venue. So yeah, I think that kind of ballpark figure is definitely about right.
It puts into perspective why us artists and traders have to pay through the nose for our table space.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't even want to know how much MCM paid to book the XL. I can't even imagine how expensive that would be.
Millions, I have a feeling. Millions.
Yeah, it's definitely an expensive venue.
As a Sonic fan, I must say I'm very excited to go. It's going to be great. I think the fact that everyone here in this very podcast, we're all going to be there. I would hope so.
That sounds alright. I might go. I might go. It sounds cool. It looks like it's where the cool kids are going to be at, so I might have to be there.
And if somehow you're watching this podcast and you have managed to miss the massive buzz that is this Kickstarter, you can find out more information. The link is in the description. So if for some reason you haven't looked at it, look at it.
And if you plan on being there anyway, why not just back the Kickstarter? Get yourself some extra goodies. Get yourself a really cool beanie hat, because I hear that they're doing a very nice collab about a ticket and a beanie hat. And yeah, I'll see you there, chilling with your beanie hat. And you can meet some very cool VIP, like the person who designed your beanie hat. Amazing. You can cut that out.
Okay. Shall we do a mailbag?
I think we should. I think we need to do a very special one this week.
It's true. So, for those of you who have been following, you know that we have a mailbag where you write in questions to us and we do our best to answer them and spread our knowledge as wide as we can. But this time, we are the ones with the questions because we have two delightful guests and it's time for us to ask them what I think are truly hard-hitting questions. Not as hard as being on the edge of a cliff, but very close. Very, very close.
Not the cliff edge. Not the cliff edge. It is quite funny that last week we introduced Courier Coop, and a week later he ain't around.
Yeah.
He's retired.
Postal strike, it happens, you know.
In the UK all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he doesn't work for Royal Mail. So I am going to start with my question. And my first question is going to be to Jake. So my question for you is, if you had to run a convention about any other theme, right? What theme would you choose that is your love? It doesn't have to be something that you think would be successful. It doesn't need to be something that you feel like hundreds of thousands of people would know about. If you had to choose a theme for a con to run, like a dream con, right, what would it be?
I've got two.
Okay.
So the first one would be a Devil May Cry themed convention.
Ooh, okay.
Which would be very, very cool. I love Devil May Cry as a franchise. So that'd be really cool to put on. The second one would be from a franchise called Nier, which would be really cool. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of people that cosplay Nier. I think that'd be really popular. They had a Nier Symphony, so similar to Sonic Symphony, in London in February last year, and there was a huge turnout for that. It was amazingly popular. So I think that would be amazing to do. Those two would be really cool to put on. I'd love to do that.
Very nice. I have to say, I'd be there for both of them. Both of them. I am a massive Devil May Cry fan. I would come dressed in all black and red leather. Amazing vibe. I would not have a white wig. I tried that once. It didn't suit me. But Nier, amazing. I am very much into the theme, the story and everything after the anime came out. I've never got to play the game, but when the anime came out, I watched both parts, and then I deep dove into summaries on YouTube that explained the entire plot. So I got really, really into it. I think there is definitely potential for that.
Yeah.
Well done, good choice.
I think it'd be really cool.
Very good choices.
Thank you.
Should I do my second question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So my second question is obviously for UK, and I know that you enjoy cosplay, right? And that is kind of your niche as a convention creative yourself, cosplay. What would your dream thing be as a cosplayer? Like, it could be a dream cosplay, a specific photo shoot, meeting a fellow cosplayer, working with someone special within the cosplay community. What is your dream as a convention creative cosplayer?
Oddly enough, you say convention creative cosplayer. I suppose this is something that's outside of a convention, but I love the idea of on-location photo shoots for cosplay. So you go to somewhere that kind of fits the theme of your cosplay. I cosplayed Kaine from Nier at October MCM. Would love to take that cosplay to sort of maybe some ruins or to like a field, but like to sort of that kind of like locations that fit scenes from the game. I've cosplayed Becca from Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Would love to go to like a industrial kind of place for that. Especially as a group cosplay on location would be really cool as well. I've had a few friends who have done on location shoots, and the photos just always turn out incredible. They look so cool, and I think it's something I'd love to do myself. I just need to get over the fear of cosplaying in public outside of a convention, and then I can make it a reality. That's the hardest part.
That's valid. And also very exciting. I think it's definitely something that is it's more achievable. You know, I think
it's something I could do, and I've worked with some really cool photographers at cons. Obviously, Hover Media is at all of our Raku events stuff with his photo studio, and I know that himself and a lot of photographers do offer on location shoots and organising stuff like that. So it's something I could make a reality when I have the time to organise something like that. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Oh, definitely. We can all relate to time is precious, and we have none of it because we already use it onto all the things we already do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Right. I guess it's time for my questions. Who am I going to pick first? Jake, I think I'm going to go for you. So, not only, Jake, crazy that you're doing conventions, all these sort of events, but you're illustrator, Jake, as well. You do a variety of art, you sell at conventions, and you even mentioned today that one thing you'd love to do is explore doing merch for SonicCon, for example. So let's imagine you have infinite money, there is no obstacle, you could make any piece of merchandise that you want. What would be the dream piece of merch that you could design to put out into the world?
I think what would be really cool, because I've never done it before, would be action figures.
Nice.
I'd love to make a Rebel the Raccoon action figure that has the packaging that's styled like the Jap-specific Sonic packaging, right? I just think that would be amazing. With all the points of articulation, maybe even more points of articulation than the Jap-specific figures obviously would be cool, because articulation's really cool for posing. And yeah, I just think that'd be something that'd be really, really exciting. And also a challenge to design as well. I think it'd just be really cool.
I don't think I've ever heard something said to me and then my brain goes, you need that now.
Yeah.
It needs to exist.
I want that to be real now.
It needs to exist. Didn't know I wanted it. Now it's been put into my brain. I now require it. So definitely one day that needs to happen. I would love to see that. I would have all of them. They would replace all of these. Just lots of
them. Oh my god.
Just different Rebel.
Same with Sonic. There's just different varieties, different expressions, different accessories. It would be so good. And now, Kay, so another exciting thing with, again, SonicCon, crazy, but that's not the only thing you guys are doing this year. There's a whole other music event happening that Raku Events is behind with Bentley Jones, which I'm very excited for. Again, check the link in description if you do not have your tickets already. But let's imagine Raku is doing a festival. Just an all-out music gig, and this is 100% being run by UK. Jake has no influence on this, right? It's just UK. And you can have any headlining act. Again, budget, logistics, dead or alive, we will make it happen. It's magic, right? Who would be like the dream headline act if you were to put a festival together?
I think because it would be like a Raku one, it would be a music festival with Japanese music artists, so I feel like it would have to be a Japanese band. I think One OK Rock would be insane. I really like their music, and they're huge. They sold out Wembley Arena last year. They're supporting Linkin Park in their Paris show later this year, so they are like definitely way out of our budget and scale at this stage, but having them would be absolutely insane. Like, yeah, being able to bring them back to the UK would just be a dream come true. I think.
So, if they're listening right now,
Yeah, so if you're listing one, okay,
Drop us a message.
Info at Raku
we'll
Events.
get you guys in touch. It's fine.
Say hi in the comments.
Can you imagine? I would be like, wait, guys. Oh my goodness. Thank you for answering our mailbag. Hopefully, Coop will be back in order next episode, and we can get back to answering. So he's a lazy pigeon. Considering all the working out he does, he does not get to do much delivering in the past. Lazy pigeon. Lazy pigeon.
His description is literally the hard-working pigeon.
Well, where is he? Where is he? Coop needs to live up to his name.
I gave him my cough flu. With his little beak, he cannot cough too much.
Oh no, it's become bird flu. That's sad. Right.
No.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure he'll make a full recovery.
Damn.
He's just having a week off, which is totally fine.
Thank goodness.
Everyone's entitled to rest. I'm glad I
Thank
checked in with him.
goodness.
'Cause,
Wow.
We always look after our family here in the podcast, even the pigeons. But we're at that point in the show. I don't know what I'm saying. We're at that point in the show where we talk about our current hyperfixations, because it's kind of expected that if you're the sort of person who attends a lot of conventions and you're always there and you're always in the world of pop culture, there might be occasionally things that just click in your brain and stay there for a little while. Sometimes a long while, but sometimes just for a week. And I'm going to go first because we're all going to do one this week. You're being spoiled by hyperfixations this week. And my one is actually an interesting one, only because it wasn't what I was expecting. It's actually, and I'm very, very late to the party on this, but the only music that's been in my rotation currently is KDA. And I 100%, it's 100% down to Jill, because we were listening to music and Jill was like, you know KDA? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. League of Legends, don't know it, mate.
Rude.
And
Rude. Crime.
he was like, just sit down, listen, shut up, and play this song. And I was like, okay, these are good tunes. These are bops. I do quite rate this. And slowly, ever since then, just slowly, automatically, it's now at the point that, you know, when you listen to any song and it just auto plays other stuff, it somehow always managed to make some KDA song fit in with what I was listening to in my shuffle playlist. So I'm kind of obsessed, and I appreciate that everyone's like, yes, so are we, like in 2020. But 5 years later, I've caught up, and it's all I listen to. It's all I listen to. It's kind of crazy. So I appreciate the recommendation, because it has genuinely infected my life in a very positive way. And I'll be listening to it for a lot longer, I imagine. But like I said, I'm not the only one with a hyperfixation this week.
Yeah.
Jake, what are you hyperfixating on?
My hyperfixation for this week would have to be Fairy Tale. I've been recently rewatching that. I haven't rewatched it in years and years and years. I used to watch it when I was younger. And Kay stopped rewatching it recently in her own time. And I thought, you know what, I want to do it as well. You know, I used to watch it a lot, you know, when I was a teenager. So yeah, I've just been watching that, and it's been super nostalgic. It's obviously got, you know, it's not the greatest, you know, it's got its cringe moments. You know, some of those openings are so good. They're so good.
Nice. What about you, Kate?
I think I've had the same hyperfixation since about October. So the week after SonicCon, me and Jake went to see Transformers 1. So before that, I had never seen any Transformers stuff. I'd maybe seen one of the live action movies as a kid, and that was about it. Since then, I've seen all the live action movies. I've started watching the original series from the 80s. Me and Jake are watching Transformers Prime together. I've bought things. I got my little Optimus Prime here on my desk. It's going, like, the hyperfixation has just taken over. And,
Nice.
yeah, not what I expected going into the movie. I was just excited because, you know, I'd seen the trailer, looked like a decent animated movie, and I just came out with a new hyperfixation that's been around for like 4 months now and doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. But yeah, it's great. And there's, I mean, because it's what, the original cartoon came out in the 80s, so I have a lot of content to be catching up on. So it's going to be here for a while. Yeah.
A lot.
Does make me think, Kay, because this is a colliding of worlds now, talking about SonicCon and Transformers. Have you seen the official Sonic the Hedgehog Transformers collaboration that's coming out this year?
I have. I've seen it. It's a bit cursed. I can't lie. I've seen it, but there's just something weird about making Sonic and Tails into Transformers. They just look very strange. But I do love it. Like, it's...
Roll out.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's not the collaboration I expected, and it just feels like the timing of me getting into Transformers with SonicCon, and then they announce a collaboration with Sonic. I'm like...
They knew.
They
It was
knew.
all part of their plan.
Amazing. Well done. Those are all very good. I
What about
would say, what about me? This week is a gift that I received from a friend that I still have to unbox, and I promise that I will. And it is a box of Digimon plush toys, and they are
cool.
individual plushies, which you can't see because of the lighting, of all the rookie forms, including one of my favorites. Actually, he is my favorite rookie right there, and one champion, which is my favorite champion right there. And yeah, I am very Digimon obsessed. I really wish there was more Digimon out in the world for our era, but sadly, it is not to be, because it always gets overshined by stupid Pokemon. But no, I love Digimon. And thank you so much to Christine from Little Japanese Corner for this wonderful gift. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to open this. These are very hard to find now because it's about, I think this set is about 2 years old, and the plush toys are quite big. And it's actually quite heavy because they all come in tin cans.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really excited to open this. Thank you, Christine.
So we talked about the things that we love and currently bring us joy, which is, for some reason, then becomes my time to be like, right, now we're going to get rid of something you love forever. It's time for Choose It or Lose It, the time where I usually make PB pick between one thing and another thing. Something he keeps, another thing he pushes off the edge of a cliff and will never see again. The bottom of this cliff right now is looking wild, but it's not just PB. We have Kay and Jake as well. So,
am I pushing them off a cliff?
I want the three of you to use the theatre of the mind, okay? Imagine this deeply original scenario, okay? Just all close your eyes and imagine you're all stood in one row, Kay, then Jill, then Jake, so Jill in the middle, you're all holding hands, and guess where you are? You wouldn't believe it. You're all at the edge of a cliff. Can you believe it?
No way!
Crazy!
No way!
Now, first, Jake and Kay. On your left, in your collective left, the three of you, on your far left, you have SonicCon, and on your far right, you have RakuCon.
Oh no!
No!
And
No.
one of them, you have to push off the edge of the cliff and never see again. Just cease to exist. So, I'll let you two defer. You don't have to agree. You can make separate decisions, but I will let you two. What do you think would be the one to go? One has to go.
I never realized how fun this is when it's not you being asked. Holy fuck, yes. Oh my god. We need more guests. I love it. Bring in the victims.
That's so difficult. You know, you.
I know.
I know that's the point,
question.
but like...
That's a really mean question. How dare you?
This is what she does to me every week.
I mean,
Right.
you know, RakuCon it's our first event. It's what started everything. SonicCon wouldn't exist if RakuCon didn't, you know, come in the first place. And we've seen it grow over the years. We've added stuff. We've got a proper stage and stuff like that. And it is like, yeah, I'm very attached to it because it's the first one. It's what started it all. But then SonicCon has blown us both away with its just, its incredible popularity. And yeah, I don't know, Jake, help. What are your
According
thoughts?
to last,
A very mean question, as I said.
no, he's banned.
You know,
Yeah.
Rakucon is what started it all. You know, with the first event took place back in 2022, and everyone who attends just, has a really great time, and seeing the variety of cosplays from lots of different things. And just, I love RakuCon. Obviously, I really love SonicCon. So
Breaking my heart, babe. What have I done?
How could you do this?
there's people that look forward to RakuCon. For them, it's their favorite event of the year. There's a lot of people who are very passionate about RakuCon. And, we're very grateful for their support. And doing the cosplay competition is always really, really nice to do and really cool. And without RakuCon, SonicCon wouldn't exist. I mean, what if Kay picks like one event and I pick another? Then
effectively, you both pushed them both off, and you have no cons.
I'm gonna flip a coin. I feel like
I actually feel bad now. What have you
I
done?
do a little bit. I'll be fine.
a little.
I'll be fine. Wow. I'm so curious.
I suppose RakuCon would have to be the one to be pushed off the cliff.
Wow. You
I
heard
don't-
it here.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
You know?
I hate RakuCon. It's gone. It's gone.
It's alright.
No, don't let him frame you. That's what he does. There's gonna be clips about that now.
If it makes you both feel any better, it isn't a real thing. But so while we're saying we're keeping SonicCon.
Yeah, I think so. I think because the Kickstarter, and I've got a little werehog staring at me from Jill's camera, so I feel like we've got to save SonicCon.
I think I will say, in the whole time we've been doing this, I don't think there's ever been such a serious debate and discussion over to which answer. So I appreciate the depth that you went. You really took me to an emotional place answering that.
It was very
But
difficult.
you've survived. You've made a decision. I'm very proud of you both. That leaves us with Gilles. On the edge of the cliff. Now, let's go back to our theatre of the mind, and Gilles, go back to closing your eyes. And you may remember that if you look to your left, you see Kay holding your hand, and if you look right, holding your hand is Jake.
No.
No.
These are some mean ones today. I swear a couple of weeks ago you were debating about snacks. What happened to snacks?
Good snack. Damn. So I have to choose who I'm going to push.
Whichever one of us you push can pick up RakuCon and bring it back as well, so it's okay. We all win in the end.
So smart. So smart.
It's just an impossible question. So in this case, I choose to lose it. I will jump off the cliff, and I'll save them both.
You know what? That's the most wholesome thing I've ever heard.
It's the impossible question.
You know what? I don't think I could. I think I totally get it. I totally get it. And so, our first.
I'll be the
loser-
one to drag Rakucon back. Okay.
You drag RakuCon back.
No, we're not going to rely on these muscles. Jake, come give me a hand.
So Jake is going down there.
So that's the choose it and lose it. A very intense one, but the most wholesome answers ever. You guys love everything that you're doing and the people around you, and it's sort of like makes me really happy. But it also means that we've seen the other side of it, which means we're now at the end of today's episode, which is crazy. We have been on a journey this evening, covering so much of the amazing work that you're both doing. And I can honestly say, both of us are just so excited to see what the rest of the year holds out for you. It's really genuinely going to be an awesome year for Raku Events and everything that they're doing.
Thank you.
So excited. And more than anything, thank you for taking the time to talk to us about it.
Of course.
No problem. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting us on to yap at you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very informative, and I think the people who are a part of SonicCon, who are a part of RakuCon as well, will understand that that event that they have been thinking about since it happened in summer, since it happened in the beginning of autumn. It is run by two people like them who are just determined and focused on making something big happen. And I think it will help them appreciate what you do more. And if they don't, I'm going to be there. Don't mess with these two. Because I'll push you off the cliff edge.
If you haven't already done so while listening to this episode, you need to go over and check out the SonicCon UK Kickstarter right now, as well as checking out the musical event with Bentley Jones happening March. Yes. So check out both of those things. If you love Sonic, you're going to want to go to both of them. If you're just adjacent to the fandom and you want to have a good time, you're probably going to want to check out anyway. So I would definitely head over there right now.
Meow.
But once you've done that, I need a favor. I need a favor from you guys watching and listening. I need you to leave reviews on every platform. Do you listen on Spotify? Got to leave a 5-star review. Listen on Apple Podcasts? Got to leave a 5-star review. And write a review to say how great they are. Maybe come at me for my choose it and lose it decisions and support these wonderful people around me. But yes, leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening. We're on so many different platforms now. You're watching us on YouTube, leave a comment, subscribe, click the bell, do all those silly notification things that YouTube have these days. Just get involved, because if you can't support us any other way, which is totally understandable, the easiest thing you can do, but actually helps us in the biggest way, is to share and spread the word. And by leaving reviews actually gets our attention and gets us in higher rankings on a variety of different platforms and just spreads the word a bit. So please consider doing that. It would mean the world. On that note, and also find us on all our socials. We're available at the Con Creatives on basically everything, pretty much everything.
Literally everything.
Yes, literally everything. I'm pretty sure on all socials, if people want to check out SonicCon UK, it would be at SonicCon UK, yes?
Yep.
Fantastic. So do check out the variety of socials and get updates, find out what's happening. It's a great place. Highly recommend Instagram if you want to check out their stories, because the interaction on there is crazy and so back and forth. So definitely check them out there as well. And until next time, thank you to our guests, and we will see you when we tune in next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that wasn't a tragic mess.